It's heartbreaking, honestly. The biker is the one who endures the most injuries. A lot of views online and goes viral is people riding really fast, cutting through traffic. There's no point of always riding crazy. Oh, it's a doggo. Hello, doggo. Hi. What is going on, you guys? I hope everyone's having an amazing day. I'm having a good day. Could be having a better day because we got an important topic to talk about today. As you can probably see by the title or thumbnail of this video, I want to talk about one of the worst things when it comes to the bike community. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that is death on motorcycles. Even if you have a bike or not, you probably have seen the statistics going around about all the deaths and crashes that happen on motorcycles. And honestly, it's very common. I've been in the bike community now, making content now for about 2 years. I've been riding motorcycles for a really long time, but especially being around the community, making friends in the community, you really see how often crashes happen. It's heartbreaking, honestly. I see a new crash happen, a death happen, and a GoFundMe made for someone almost every other day now. And as someone who promotes positivity in the community, promotes people to be safe on bikes, it's really heartbreaking to see. The worst part about it is that most of the time it's not even the biker's fault. It might just be that someone else crashed into them unintentionally. If you're in a car, you're a lot more safer. You're between metal, you have some protection around you. But on a bike, no matter what, anything happens on the street and the biker ends up being the one who's hurt. It doesn't really matter whose fault it is. It could be the biker's fault for doing some crazy stuff. It could be the car's fault for doing some crazy stuff. But the biker is the one who endures the most injuries. If you are a beginner, the most important part about getting a motorcycle is really understanding that danger. And it's a real thing. At first, you really feel unstoppable on bikes because you feel like you can go anywhere, you can cut through traffic. Anything can happen within a split second, and you end up being the one who's injured. Especially as a beginner, you need to make sure to ride your bike with your head on a swivel. You have to think that no one around can really see you. You feel unstoppable, you feel amazing, but you might just be at a stop sign and someone rams you from behind and you won't know what has happened. You won't even realize until you're on the ground because it happened so fast. That's truly scary. I've always rode my bike very cautiously, very safely, because on the streets, you never know. There might be gravel on the streets. There might be some idiot who doesn't know how to drive on the street. You end up being the one who's injured. I know a lot of people around me who push their limits on the streets, and it's just way too dangerous. There's even people who have fallen multiple times and not learned their lesson. It's okay to learn lessons from other people. By seeing all these crashes and by seeing literally deaths happening on motorcycles, you should understand that it's not something to just be playing around with. The least you can do is make sure you're wearing your gear. I've started always wearing my gear, my boots, because you might be going on a chill cruise and you don't know what's going to happen. It might even be another biker bumping into you. And at the end of the day, it makes me really sad to see my friends, my community, continuously going down and not learning their lesson. It's not about learning a lesson specifically, but it's about the fact that you actually got injured, and now you're not just physically injured, but it really hinders your mentality as well too. If you're down and you can't walk for 6 months, you lose a lot of hope and you lose a lot of that motivation that you had to get back on a bike. I know in some states they don't even require you to wear a helmet, which is crazy, because a helmet is the first thing you should have on while riding a bike. Your head is the most important part of your body, and when you're riding, even if you're riding at 40, 50 miles per hour like I am right now, just cruising on the streets, and you go down and your head hits the ground, you're going to be severely injured. In terms of the upper body gear, you go down and you scrape your arm against the ground, you're going to have road rash all over you. All this is to say that ride with your head on a swivel. There's no point of always riding crazy. There are some people out there who ride crazy no matter what. There are time and places to ride crazy, like on the track. Let out all your adrenaline, let out all your tests, lane as far as you want to on the track. But on the streets, it's not worth it, because you might be having fun 1 second, then all of a sudden you're on the ground and you don't know what happened. In today's day and age, especially because of the boom of social media, the boom of the internet, more and more young kids are getting onto motorcycles. And I have to admit, even as a young kid, when I was younger, I used to ride my bike crazy all the time. And because you feel fearless. The ones who learn their lessons as a kid either learn their lessons from other people or they learn on their own experience. They start to ride a little more normally. They start to ride with gear on. And you shouldn't have to go through a harsh, traumatic learning lesson for you to ride with gear on. Not just the beginners though. You might be super experienced riding a motorcycle. Even the most experienced motorcycles go down on the street somehow because it's not even their fault. You can see all the big YouTubers, all the big content creators, they've gone down on their bike before, and it may not even be their fault, but guess what? They're the ones suffering the injuries and going through the whole recovery process. The person who hit you on their car might be in jail, but hey, your body's messed up. So you're at a loss type of situation when you're on a bike. Like I was saying, there's a time and place to ride crazy, and if you really feel the road is safe, and if it allows you to, you can ride crazy. But that doesn't mean do it all the time. And it's not entirely the beginner rider's fault or the rider's fault in general. These days, stunting and riding really fast through traffic and just doing all this stuff to boost your adrenaline is very normalized. And that's the type of content that gets a lot of views online and goes viral, is people riding really fast, cutting through traffic. That's not to say that I'm hating on someone who's doing that. That's just to say, don't copy others doing it. You don't know the skill levels of others. You don't know what they've been through. You only know what you know. Hey, chopper. Speaking of choppers, if you guys see my last video, I rode my friend's Harley Davidson Street Glide, and it's a big body bike. But honestly, riding it felt amazing. I didn't feel the need to speed at all. I didn't feel the need to go crazy. It was just a whole lot of fun, and how I was vibing. Oh, it's a doggo. Hello, doggo. Hi. I think he got scared. That's why for me personally, I have no bias or hatred towards a certain type of biker. Yeah, I ride a sports bike, arguably one of the most aggressive sports bikes. I ride an R6, but just because I ride an aggressive R6 doesn't mean I have to ride it crazy all the time. This bike is meant to be on the track, yeah, and that's why when I'm riding it, it feels very aggressive. You feel the need for speed all the time, but over the years I've learned to control that need for speed and just enjoy the ride for what it is. There's no point of you going crazy all the time and then all of a sudden you're down on the asphalt and you're down for the count. It's just very sad to see that people don't learn that lesson, and it breaks my heart, honestly. I'm probably the only person who I know with an R6 who actually rides it pretty safe. Everyone else who I know with an R6 rides it crazy, and that's saying something. You need to learn how to turn that need for speed on and off sometimes, especially when you're riding in groups. I feel like group riding, especially when you're a beginner, you feel the need to copy others, and you feel the need to go fast for some reason because you want to copy others. That's first rule of what not to do when you are on a bike, is try to copy others. There's no need to try to copy anybody. This goes in life too, but especially on a motorcycle, the limits to skill are so different depending on the experience, depending on the bike someone is riding. Your skill levels are going to be completely different than the next person. So take it within your own limits. When you're riding as a beginner, ride slow, Learn your ways. Don't push your limits on roads you don't know. Oh, hello duckies. How cute. If you continuously push your limits on roads that you don't know, you are bound for something to happen. A lot of the times though, it's not even the biker's fault. That's the most sad part about it. Because you could just be riding normally and someone cuts you off and you get hit. Just because the bike community is very popular nowadays, everyone wants to hop on a bike, that doesn't mean that you're going to be as good as the next guy is in riding it. Right? That doesn't mean you're going to be as safe as the next person is, or what happens to them is never going to happen to you. We always think it's never going to happen to us. Being in the bike community for a while now, starting to know a lot of the creators, I've really noticed how some people just don't learn their lesson. They go down once, luckily, God willing, they survive, and they still go back to the same type of riding that they were, and then go down multiple times. There are safety precautions you can take, even if it's not your fault. You can be precautious, you can wear your gear, you can ride safe. You don't need to speed all the time. But at the end of the day, all this is just to say that riding motorcycles is very dangerous. The statistics that you see online about deaths on motorcycles and the crashes on motorcycles every year, it's all true. The more you get into it, the more you realize how true you are. I would say if you want to get a bike, especially a sports bike, something of this caliber or above, you need to make sure you're mature enough to get a bike like this. If you're younger, you know that you have a need for speed and you already speed your car all the time and you want to go faster, and the reason why you want to get a bike is to go faster. Maybe hold off on it a little bit until you learn how to just enjoy life for a little bit. I always say, love your own life first. And that means in all aspects, even before getting a bike, love your own life first. You have to learn how to love your own life, because no matter what, you're never going to be like someone else. You're always going to be like you. And comparing yourself to someone on social media is the worst thing you can do. Yeah, I have a cool bike, and honestly, I never even could imagine the platform that I have now, and I'm so thankful for everyone who supports this, supports my videos. I really wish that all of you guys watching, if you ever are to get a bike, you ride it safely. Ride it with a mature mindset. Never ride your bike with emotions. If you're feeling anger, feeling any sort of negative emotion, don't think that the bike is going to be your way of getting rid of those emotions. Just like driving a car where you're feeling some sort of emotions, the bike is the same way, except for 10 times as dangerous. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe do something that won't endanger your life, because it's not worth it. I'm telling you this, it's not worth it. I've had friends around me pass away, crash their bikes, and at the end of the day, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to your friends, it's not worth it to your family, it's not worth it to yourself. Wow, look at that amazing sunset. What a beautiful day out today. I hope you guys got something from this video, learned something from this video. If you guys want more videos like this, let me know down below in the comments. As always, make sure you guys love your own life first, ride safe, drive safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.